Welcome guys, today I'm interviewing AzureCloud, who was not only a top 8 at Worlds last year, but is now the top seed in the Contender Cup this year. How are you doing, AzureCloud?
I'm good, Luis. How are you?
I'm pretty good, dude. Thanks for being here. I'm sure that people would definitely want to see this. So to start off, I want to go a little bit back in the past. So last year Contenders Cup, I think it's fair to say that you were the underdog. You went on to win the entire event and then make top 8 at Worlds. Now this year, you're qualifying Contenders Cup as the number 1 seed, which essentially makes you the favorite. What is the difference in your feelings between last year's Contenders Cup and now this year?
I think so. Last year going to Contenders Cup, I don't know if you're aware of this, but when September SVO ended last year, I was actually technically out of the Contenders Cup top bracket cut by league points, right? I was 1 place off.
Yeah.
And it was pretty disappointing for me at the time. I lost some sleep over it, but fortunately for me, 2 of the qualified players weren't able to participate. So me and Guilty Kiss got as the next runner ups got the spots, and so we're going to LA. And I felt pretty fortunate when I was told that I could go to Contenders Cup, and I was pretty excited. But I definitely didn't expect to win it or anything, right? Because it's 8 of the top players in Cam, and I was like, I'll just go try my best. But
Right.
when I was 8, I didn't think I had a real chance to do it. I just told myself that I'll try the best, and just turned out that I won it all. So yeah, definitely last year I didn't even have the expectation of winning it, and winning it felt pretty surreal. This year, I think the main thing that's different is my expectation. Obviously, I started this year with the intention of going to Worlds again, and now that I'm top seeding contenders, it I don't even think I could say that it feels any easier coming in as the top seed, because of the expectation I have for myself. I don't think being the top seed makes it any more likely to win it all than someone else. So I think I have to kind of come in with the same mentality as last year. I don't think anyone is you can say all you want about placing, seeding, and favorites, underdogs, but at the end of the day, all that matters is how you play when the actual tournament starts. So I will just have to try my best and focus and not think about how, oh, I'm a better player than this guy, so I can just relax or anything like that.
Yeah, so basically Contenders has the best players in our region, which is now combined. So yes, just because you're the number 1 point in Contenders, doesn't mean it'll be any easier or anything like that. So you're saying the expectation has changed, where now you have expectations where you expect to make it to Worlds again, right?
Yeah.
So does that come from your top 8 last year? Does it come from, you believe in yourself more? Or is it like a change in how you approach the game, how you practice? Is it your tournament results? Where does the difference come from?
I think I have always putting a lot of effort into practicing. That hasn't changed from last year until this year. I think the few main things that changed is that I do think I have improved as a player over the course of between the start of last year and by the end of last year. I think by the end of last year, I felt like I really became a player who's good enough to compete at the World Grand Prix with all the other best players. This was especially confirmed for me when I went to World Grand Prix. And I'm not gonna say the games were easy, but it definitely felt like I was on par with some of the players, and even just better than some of the slightly worse players at World Grand Prix last year. So there is that, and I definitely gained some confidence from the fact that I won contenders last year, and then I ended up top 8 in World Grand Prix. So yeah, I think it's mainly just a confidence boost from my results last year, and also kind of getting to the contender stage and getting to the World Grand Prix stage and realizing that the opponents are still very, very good, but it's not like I'm not on the same level as them.
So how was that experience when when you got to the top 8 you have essentially the entire West rooting for you. Like you instantly become, everyone's favorite player in that moment. Everyone's rooting for you. Like, top eight is very, very impressive, of course, right? Top eight in the world. But surely you're hungry for more and you want to do better this year, right?
Yeah, 100%. So it last year it felt like a bit of a Cinderella run for me. Like I wasn't expecting to get into contenders. I got into it by kind of chance of luck, and then I wasn't expecting to win contenders, and I won that. So going to Worlds, I was still, not super confident. I actually, so the week before World Grand Prix, when I was like, my school was off and I was at home, I actually spent like an entire week just pretty much doing nothing but practicing Shadowverse because I was that like nervous and determined to like prep for Worlds. So when I got to Tokyo and we started playing, um, day one was, how do I put it? Day one was interesting. So I won the first two rotation series, which was also pretty close, especially the first series. I actually went down 0-2 and I reverse swept. And then the take two rounds, I got a bit lucky. I went 2-0. So by that point, I was 4-0. And I was like, wait a second, am I going to top eight? Because I was not expecting to do that. So yeah, like as for the like support of the West, I didn't really pay that much attention to it because I didn't really engage in like any mass media related to like Shadowverse West. But all my friends were definitely going crazy, and I felt some of it, and it was cool. I mean, definitely. What am I trying to say here?
Do you feel like that moment, getting top eight, like it changed your life?
Um, I I wouldn't necessarily say that because uh, so I reached top eight, right? And after day one, I was like, this is really winnable. So my goal was to get top four, get into the finals, or even potentially win it all. Unfortunately, my first series went to 5 games, and game five turned out the way it did. I think it definitely changed like my perspective on playing competitive Shadowverse and confidence in myself as a player. But I wouldn't say it's changed my life yet because at the end of the day, I took home like 3,000 US dollars, which is pretty good. But I wouldn't say it's like life changing or anything at all.
Okay, that's totally fair. Now, what about you, outside of Shadowverse? Are you like a student? Are you a professional in our field? What do you do, man?
Yeah, I'm currently in the last year of university. Um, so still studying and just kind of playing Shadowverse in my spare time, I suppose.
Wow, what are you studying, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm studying like a business major with some like computer science related a pathway, so to speak. So it's like business analytics with some focus on like basic programming.
Yeah, it's really cool that you, I guess, can manage to do that and still play Shadowverse at such a high level, especially now that this year, you had such a close run with Noir. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the close run with Noria, at the beginning of the year, it like I after the first month I jumped to second place. The second place finished in January, right? And then I more or less stayed there for like the rest of the year. And it's interesting because Noyer didn't actually enter like the top league points contention until like 5 to 6 months in. And then with June, I believe he took a 4 point lead over me and two other players who were tied for second. And at that point, I was feeling like pretty pressure because 4 points is a lot to catch up, right? But in July, I managed to play second again and shrunk the lead to 1 point. August, I believe. Actually, no. In July we tied, right? And then August, Nora won 6-1. I won 5-2, and I was feeling again like really pressured at that point. I was watching his top eight game and just like almost like praying for him to lose, not in a malicious
Yeah,
way, but obviously you
of
understand.
course.
Uh, so coming to September, Nora had a 1 point lead. I was feeling, a bit pressured as usual because 1 point lead at this level, consider like luck aside, it's really hard to catch up to actually. But so day one, I managed to go 6-0. I was like, okay, I should secure top A. I just need Nora to lose one more time. I don't know if you know, but me and Nora met in the third round of Swizz this month, and
Oh,
I
really?
managed to beat him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was his only loss during Swizz.
Huh.
So I was like, okay, I got him. I handed him one loss. Someone just like beat him again. He's out of top A, and I should be good to go here. But unfortunately, Nora still pulled through because he's a great player, and it came down to obviously the top A face off between me and him, and I was like, okay, this is like your anime arc destiny match,
Yeah, it
right?
was so
Winner goes to
perfect, right?
yeah, winner goes to World Grand Prix. Um, so I was like, okay, I beat him in Swizz, I can do it again. But first of all, Nora switched up his ban on me. He banned my blood in Swizz, but he chose to ban my sword in top 8 because I banned his spell boosting Switch, which is like the one deck that's really, really bad against blood. And I considered the possibility that he would do that, but I decided, even if he chose to leave my blood open, I'm fine playing to his sword and shadow. Um, so I think Nora did gain a slight advantage in the ban, but ultimately it just came down to I went second with blood 2 games versus sword and shadow, and he had like pretty good draws. I think the sword draw from Nora was like almost perfect against specifically burn blood because he drew 3 Alaska, which is like the most insane card in the
Yeah.
matchup, and it's not even close. And then the shadow game, he also went first, and he just had like things to do into a turn 5 lovers, and there's not much I can do there. So, give and take, right? I had good draws against Nora in the Swizz. He had good draws against me in the top 8. It's like technically fair, but obviously one had much more weight than the other,
Of
and
course,
at the end
yeah.
of the day, it just kind of felt bad for me, but it's whatever.
So last year, I believe you were playing teamless, right? And
Yeah.
after you got the top 8, I'm sure you had a lot of teams that wanted you to join them. I believe that you've recently joined Sonar 5, is the name, right?
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? How's the team looking like? Does that help you out? What has the experience been like,
So
playing a team as opposed to playing solo like you were last year?
So it's interesting because I actually only received invitation to join a team from S5 and Dawnbreakers. No other team actually extended an invite to me, which I thought was interesting. I'm sure if I applied, they would have willingly accepted me, but I wasn't even sure if I wanted to join a team at the start of this year. So S5 reached out to me. The team leaders Bima and Lumi, who like Bima you should know, and Lumi is also the top seed contenders cup player from last year, right?
Yeah.
So they offered me to join the team and be like kind of a team leader, and I thought about it. I was like, okay, sure. So I joined the team, and honestly, it's like almost everything I could ask from a team. We are good friends, and we're also competitive. We kind of rigorously go over matchups and scrims. It's a very like everyone's kind of mutually competitive, trying to help each other improve, pointing out mistakes, scrim for learning more about the game, and I don't regret my decision to join at all. I think it was a great decision. And I think it shows, right? Our team has really great results this year in both West and SEAO. I believe we have 3 contenders in the West, and currently I think we are like 4 or 5 out of the top 12 in the SAO league points leaderboard as well.
So when I interviewed Noir, I told everybody that one of my funnest memories was playing Smash with him at Contenders Cup last year. But aside from that, I remember that you and I spent a lot of time talking. I remember that you were doing the anime quiz while we were watching and waiting. Can you tell us a little about your favorite animes?
My favorite animes, huh? So it's interesting because I think you can definitely call me a weeb because I'm pretty big into like anime and anime music and stuff. But I haven't watched that many animes, relatively speaking, of course, like compared to the bigger weebs I know. So I think I've
Yeah.
watched like 50 to 60 series total. Um, I know a lot of people will be like, "What?" But I would say my favorite show is Sword Art Online, and it's not because of like it's the best anime ever or whatever. It's just because it was my first anime ever, and like especially Asuna as a character really left a huge impression on me. So it's one of my favorites anime to this day still, but it's really like mostly nostalgia and emotional factors. And as for like actual animes that I think like just like the best ever, I would say it's like Steins Gate and Kimi no Nawa.
Hey,
Those
those are good
animes were
choices.
just like great.
Yeah, those were great choices. Well, AzureCloud, thank you so much for doing this. I hope that you enjoyed this. Any shout outs, anything you want to say to the people?
Shout outs to my S5 teammates for a great year together and helping each other, and the great results we've achieved. SEAL has yet to be played, but that my teammate Curry would secure the free auto qualifying World Grand Prix spot, and I think 4 of my teammates have a chance to make contenders. So good luck to them, and good luck to us in contenders and trying to get the World Grand Prix spots. And besides that, all my friends who have like supported me since last year and this year, just cheering me on, even though they don't really play Shadowverse competitively themselves. It's meant a lot, especially last year after Worlds, where my results kind of attracted a bit of a bit of haters as well. Their support really like kind of helped me fight off that. And besides that, just everyone I've gotten to know since I started playing Shadowverse competitively, they're all great people, and I really appreciate how playing this game has like made me so many friends. It's like including you, Luis, even though we
Yeah.
don't really know each other that well. But yeah,
Well, thank you so much, AzureCloud. I can't wait to see you at Contenders Cup. I'm sure you're going to put up a great fight.
mm-hmm.
Good luck there.
Yeah, thank you.